I don't think I have the same personality I had before I started working in customer service. And I don't mean I grew up. I mean, I genuinely think this job rewired how I act, how I talk, how I handle people, and even how I see myself. Hi, I'm Rory. I've worked in customer service for over 10 years, and I've been thinking a lot lately about how much this job has changed me in good ways, and in some ways, I'm still unpacking. One of the good changes I have realized about myself is that I have learned how to be more patient. When I was a young barista, I was always in go mode, which basically meant I was running around everywhere trying to do everything. One day, my manager took the time to teach me to take a breath, to take a beat, and to actively listen to what the customers are saying instead of cutting them off and assuming what they're going to say next. Now I allow each customer to fully get through all of their thoughts and their words or their order and what they really want, which has helped me in real life too. It has made me a better active listener, and I interrupt significantly less when people are talking to me, especially if it's something important to them. Another thing that customer service has taught me is how to better read people. I was taught to notice body language and expressions at the handoff, from fidgety to super tense kind of feelings and like body language. Another thing that customer service taught me was how to better read people. I was taught to notice body language and expressions at the handoff, from fidgety to super tense to maybe just waiting around for a while. These were all signals that I had to reach out and talk to the person to ease their mind and how they are feeling. I can read someone's mood in about 3 seconds now. I also practice dialoguing with my customers now. I've realized that just talking to them eases them. Just as something as simple as, hi, welcome in. Thank you so much for coming in. I'll be right with you, or have your drinks out in just a moment, helps calm them down, especially if there's a lot of people, because people just get overwhelmed when there are a bunch of people crowding. So saying something, acknowledging them really helps them out. And in some ways, it helps me out because it calms me down, knowing that they know we're working as hard as we can. I've also learned how to stay calm under chaotic moments. Specifically, I have learned to look up and to take a moment to assess and look at the bigger picture. The concept of look up actually came from one of my favorite store managers I've ever had. Several years back, my store manager came out of his office and just said, Rory, look up. And they weren't trying to be mean and they weren't upset or anything. They were just trying to be supportive, especially because I was just in production mentality and just kept pumping out drinks because that's what I thought was important at the time. It basically made me blind to everything else. I looked up and was able to assess what really needed to be done. I reworked the play, figured out what plan to best support the customers and my team, and figured out a way to conquer the situation at hand, basically. That day, I became a better leader and a better Starbucks partner. I learned how to stay calm in the chaos and how to approach situations that felt crazy and scattered. I felt very scattered brain. I'm very grateful to my manager for teaching me look up. Surprisingly, customer service has also taught me how to do small talk, turning small talk into something bigger. Some may even say I've got it down to a science. I have nailed the small talk interaction. And not only that, I'm able to turn that small talk into genuine conversations with people now. They feel heard, they feel safe and comfortable talking to me about their life. They ask me about my life. I'm not only remembering their name and their order, but I'm also remembering the facts about them that they shared with me. And I'm able to continue having a deep conversation with them and not just the small talk that I have learned. Lastly, I am now able to de escalate situations using the latte model that Starbucks taught me. The latte model basically stands for listen, apologize, take action, thank, and ensure satisfaction. These are 5 steps that help customers feel heard when something goes wrong. This model has helped me make most moments right with customers, and it helps me solve the problem in a quick and kind manner. A model I apparently use in my day to day life, which we will talk about a little bit later. I realize I don't know how to not be on. I started bringing my work personality home with me, things such as smiling when I don't feel like it, or using my customer voice on my real life friends was getting weird. And it doesn't stop there. I'm now hyper aware of other people's feelings, and I even noticed my people pleasing tendencies. I overly care about others, which isn't a bad thing until I start neglecting myself. But deep down, I feel responsible for everyone else's mood. And I think I have difficulty turning that off. I realize that I hold myself accountable for other people's actions and reactions, even though it's not my fault. And really, I should only hold myself accountable for my own actions. It was little things like this that began adding up to my personality shift due to customer service. I mean, a decade is a long time, and I just didn't realize these small little things that just kept adding up. Then there was the realization moment when it all began to click. I wasn't who I used to be, and I was someone completely new. As a Starbucks partner, I was taught to use the latte model to de escalate a situation when things go wrong. Not only did I listen to their complaint, but I did a lot of matching their energy and agreeing with them by using reflective techniques so that they felt heard. The customers felt heard. It wasn't until recently that I noticed I was doing the same thing to my real life friends and family. My friend was venting to me about work things I didn't really understand. That's when I found myself using the latte model on them, which is just reiterating the same thing back at them so they thought I was actively listening. Not that I wasn't, but I realized I was treating them as a customer, which obviously they're not. They're someone I care about. When I recognized what I had done, I felt really icky in my own skin about the whole thing. I needed some time to reflect on the whole thing and what had just happened and what I could have done differently in that situation. It was in that moment when I realized that using that technique didn't make me a bad person on a friend. I was just a different person who learned how to approach certain situations. I'm just different than I used to be. But does this make me a better person or a robot that follows procedures? I'm unsure of that until this day, but that is when I realized, oh, this job didn't just teach me skills. I have changed now, and I am a completely different person, and I exist differently in front of other people, which I still don't know if that's a bad thing or not. When you spend all day managing people, which I do, I manage people's feelings, I manage what they do. You kind of lose track of your own feelings and needs. Things like burnout and emotional labor, losing part of yourself become real. I'm at a point where I realize I'm forgetting what I actually feel, especially when I'm at work or even out and about. I use this facade where my intention is to help others and prioritize their feelings over my own. I think this is the most dangerous part of the person I have become and am today. And it's because of my customer service job. I wasn't like this before. I took care of myself, or I tried to at least, but I prioritized myself, and now I prioritize everyone else over me. And that is the biggest problem of them all. In some ways, I'm learning how to be a person again, not just an employee. I think that the first step in combating this problem is realizing that I have a problem. I think I have to be a little bit more reflective and intentional of my actions and my reactions. I have to be more mindful of myself and what I need, which is definitely easier said than done. But I think this is something I have to sit with maybe even journal about it to help me get to a place where I want to be. I want to set boundaries. I let silence happen. Not everything has to be a performance. Most importantly, I must be okay with not always smiling, and I must connect with my own feelings and recognize that I'm not someone who's meant to please everyone, especially my customers. I think now that I have noticed that I have this problem, and shift in my personality, I think I can make some real change. I am hopeful of finding my genuine self, whoever that might be. I don't really know how to do that just yet, but I am ready to welcome them with open arms. I think this is part of me figuring out who I am in my 30s, especially after a decade of customer service. So, if you're also trying to figure out who you are outside of work, you're definitely not alone. Let me know down in the comments if you relate or even have some tips on how to rediscover who you are and how to be an individual again. I just don't want to be a cog in a machine anymore. Also, I'd love to know if you feel like your job has changed you. It would definitely make me feel a little bit better and less alone. So that would be really helpful. Anyways, that is my rant about how customer service has changed who I am as a person for better or for worse. I think recognizing this as a problem is the first step in changing my behavior and also taking care of myself. This is the first steps towards taking care of myself. I hope that you all can take some time to reflect on yourself and really see how work has changed you. And I especially hope that you can find your genuine self even amongst all. If you want to see more content about self reflection, life in your 30s, please like and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. I hope you all have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, and good night. And I will see you all. Bye.